Hey guys, it's Jedd here from Disrupt Tutoring, and as always, it's a pleasure to join you. Today, we are looking at creating our own graph. So let's get straight into the question. They've given us the points A, -1, -2, B, 0 and 1, C, 1 and 4 are given, okay? They then ask us to plot the points A, B, C on the grid below. So if we look at A, we've got -1, -2. Remember, this -1 always refers to the X coordinate, and the -2 refers to our Y coordinate. So this would be our X coordinate, this would be our Y coordinate, so the intersection is where the point would be, so our point would be over there, and remember to write down the coordinate is A. Okay, so that's the point we're talking about. Moving on to B, we can see that we've got the X coordinate of 0 and the Y coordinate of 1, so that's where the intersection is going to happen, and that is going to be point B. So we can write down point B. And then finally, guys, point C is 1 and 4. So if we look, 1 is going to be our X coordinate and 4 is going to be our Y coordinate. So the intersection is going to happen over there, and that's going to be C. All right, guys, it's a little harder for me to get the point exactly right with the pen on the tablet, but remember, you can do this a little bit neater in your exam. I'm also going to try and use a nifty tool and see if it works. So let's see. All right, so now they're going to ask us to draw a straight line through the points A, B, and C. Here goes nothing. Excuse me if I'm not directly through the points, but the goal here is to try and connect the points using the line. So I'm going to draw my line now. Okay, sort of almost. Sort of almost, but what you need to try and do, guys, is take that line and draw it directly through the 3 points. Okay, so use your ruler and draw it directly through the 3 points. And that would get you a couple of marks for that question. I'm going to switch over to pen now. Now they've said to us, calculate the gradient of the straight line through points A, B, and C. So how would we do that? Okay, what do we mean by gradient? Gradient means the rise over run. So it's how steep the line is, either moving upwards or downwards. So we can see here that we've got a positive sloping that's going to be fairly steep, okay? And it's going to be positive, okay? The answer is going to be positive because we are sloping upwards. We're climbing up the mountain, all right? So our formula for gradient, and I'm going to change the color pen to black. Our formula for gradient, okay? So we're going to say the gradient of ABC, okay, but I'm going to use AB because it's on the same line, is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we need to use the coordinates of AB here, okay? So we're using the coordinates of AB. So if we look at B being our second coordinate and A being our first coordinate, our coordinates for B, the y coordinate, is going to be 1. So we can plug that in. So it's going to be 1 minus our y1 coordinate. So that's going to be the y value is going to be -2. So we can plug that in. So that's -2. And then that is going to be over x2, which is going to be 0. So we can write in 0. And -1. So we're going to go -1. Okay. So now we can simplify that. I'm going to simplify it up at the top here. So it's going to be 1 minus -2. So that's going to be 1 plus 2. And that is 3. And at the bottom, we've got 0 minus -1. So that's going to be 0 plus 1. So that's going to be 1. And therefore, our gradient is equal to 3. Okay. So that would be our gradient. So we knew it was going to be a positive value because we are moving up, and we also knew it was going to be quite steep, and 3 is fairly steep. Now, a way we can test whether this gradient is correct is we can use our rise over run. So rise is the 3 and 1 is the run. Okay, so rise is the 3 and 1 is our run. So let's start, for instance, at point B. Okay, so rise, we're going to move 3 units up. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go 1 to the right. And as you can see, we are hitting the correct point on that curve. So that's another way of calculating the gradient, okay, or testing that your gradient is sort of looking right. Now, Let's move on to the next question. They've asked us to determine the equation of a straight line that is parallel to the straight line through points A, B, and C if it passes through the points 0 and 4. Now, the most important thing here, guys, is they've said to us the straight line is parallel to this straight line. That gives us a ton of information. And they've also said to us it passes through the point 0, 4. So the equation I'm going to use here is I'm going to say y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Okay, so here we've got a coordinate that we can insert. We've got our gradient, and these remain y and x. And once we have solved it, we're going to get an equation of the form y equals mx plus c, which is the equation of a straight line that we're trying to solve in this question. So let's plug in all of the values we know. So they've given us this coordinate, so we can see that the y1 is going to be 4 and our x1 is going to be 0. So let's plug those in. Minus 4 equals, they've also given us a massive hint here, guys. So m, remember, is our gradient, and they've said to us the equation of a straight line that is parallel. So when a line is parallel to another line, we know that the gradients are exactly the same. The gradients are exactly the same. So we can put in 3 because we've already calculated the gradient of 3 in the previous question. The x stays the same, and we can put in the x1 spot a 0. Now we can simplify this and we will get the answer we're looking for. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of those brackets. So we're going to have y minus 4 equals, so the brackets, the 0 does nothing, so we're left with an x inside there. The x times is the 3, so that's going to leave us with 3x. And in order to get this y by itself, we need to get rid of this minus 4. So we're going to add 4 on this side, we're going to add 4 on that side, and that's going to leave us with the equation of the straight line, 3x plus 4. And that is the answer that the examiner is looking for. Now, what can we say about this equation of a straight line? Well, we can say that we know that 3 is the gradient, which is making it parallel to the line that we've got in this question here. And because the c is 4, we know that it's going to cross or cut the y-axis at the point 0, 4. That's all from me, guys. I hope this question helped. You're probably going to get a question like this one in your next test and exam. So I hope you understood it. Thanks very much to our sponsors. Remember, you can read up more about them in the description below. Until the next time, guys, stay epic.